Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome again to some people call it Ian Friday,
Ian Friday. There you go.
who's going to be watercolor painting live.
Mm.
And I think, well, I know what the subject was requested last week. I don't know if you're keeping it.
Have we got people? Right, what I need to do before we go any farther?
Yeah, no one's in the chat yet.
I'll get rid of that and I'll minimize me. Do I need to have that up? Wait a minute, I think I might. I don't need that up. And I can minimize that and make it into a little diddy thing. There we go.
Great. I think Gracie's here. Let me see. Yeah, Gracie's here. Welcome.
And I need that up. That's definite. There we go. So I set up a video to go off last night, and it was taking so long that I ended up having to set it for this afternoon, and I forgot that I'd set it, so I weren't even there to watch it.
Oh, what, it conflicted with this time?
No, it was earlier this afternoon.
Oh, you set up a premiere and forgot to attend it?
Yeah. Because I normally just let it run straight on once it's uploaded. But I thought, it took hours uploading.
Oh, yeah, I heard my friend in Scotland, she has that problem, so she does her uploading overnight.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm really tired. I've got to go to bed. I'll set it to run later on tomorrow when people are actually up and about. And I forgot to go and watch it when it came on, so I weren't there.
That's
might have been a better thing. I were there in spirit though.
Yeah.
Because I was there talking to them all the time. Just follow the instructions.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Chrissy Canvas is here. Chrissy Canvas Art's here. Grace is here.
Chrissy.
Mrs. Unigon is here.
Chrissy was there.
Yvonne is here. Welcome, everybody.
So, so we've got a few people here now then?
Yep. Like four. We got 5 people here now.
Have we got the Mystic Unicorn with us?
Yes, Mystic Unicorn's here.
Because this is a special request by Mystic Unicorn. And although I did try to find a decent particular type of shark, I couldn't find one that were photogenic, so I've had to go for this.
Oh,
a great white shark.
Oh, she said that would be fine.
I know, but she did want I forget which one now. A whale shark, were it? I don't know if it were a whale shark or a basking shark, can't remember.
Yeah, those were her first choices.
Yeah, but I thought this one would be nice to have a look at. And I've also, because we're going to be doing some techniques with this, I've also took the liberty of pre-masking the image.
Ah, okay.
So we're going to need to be taking that into account as well. So we're nearly ready for starting then, guys?
Yeah, everybody's ready. There's 5 people. That's a good start.
Well, let's look at materials then. This paper is £150 or 350 grams, not watercolor paper, made by Sea Whites of Brighton, which is a company that makes paper.
That's local. That's local company.
Well, it's not local to me, but it is in England. It's in the south of England.
Oh, okay.
So, but they make paper. It's okay. It's a good practice paper, I would say. So that's your paper. I will probably be using these today, if you can see them. What's video quality like at the moment?
Oh, yeah, it looks good. Video quality's good.
I'll bring that up a bit closer like that. So we've got a filbert, this one, a pointed mop, and one of those pointed calligraphy brushes that I got from China. Woo! So that's more than enough brushes. So what it looks like is this light's going to be coming from like there, that direction, right. And light's like flooding into this area. It looks as though it's in sea and it's shallow, and light's just coming and hitting, and there's rays coming into it. So this side's going to be a bit dark. So that's one of the first things we're going to get done. We're going to as well today, I'm taking the liberty of adding a teeny weeny bit. I know I keep saying every week that I'm going to do it, but yes, I am going to use my white gouache. Oh, okay. It's already squeezed into the palette that I've got. So we'll wet this up a bit and get a little bit of bluiness. And we're gonna go. And the good thing about me putting this mask on is I can be quite, I don't have to worry about being delicate around there.
Right.
Which helps really, because you want it to flow. So, any questions you want to ask about any of the equipment today, or have you got any great insights for us from your creative art journey this week?
Well, Mystic Unicorn says, yeah, Jaws is awesome.
Jaws?
Yeah, the movie from the 70s, Jaws.
Slightly dated, but yeah, what a good film. It had me on end of me nails. Not going in that water ever again.
It was the first time I was at a movie where the line was wrapped around the theater to get in.
I don't know whether Star Wars came out before that, or
no, I don't think Star Wars came out before that, did it? No.
Did it come out in '76? Jaws.
What? I knew it was in '76. Well, I'd have to look it up.
The light blue comes right to about there. Now I'm going to get some water now, and I'm going to get some. It's like a banana-y brown, banana-y yellow. This, and I'm going to float it into that there.
Gracie wants to know what brand of masking fluid you're using.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It don't really matter, although some brands of masking fluid go better with certain types of paper. But it's Winsor & Newton masking fluid, but it don't really matter. They're all the same. They're basically is it polyurethane or something like that? I forget. Just like a plastic rubbery mask.
I would think that you should be careful what kind of masking fluid you use for what kind of paper.
Yeah, you do have to be, because there's some papers just don't like masking fluid, and it rips it up. It rips the paper up once you start.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I only have used masking fluid on this photo paper that I use, and that I can use any kind of masking fluid on, because nothing's going to rip that up, because it has a plastic. It's plastic coated.
So you have to be very, very careful about what you're doing. But because I'm working fairly fast today, See, the other option is do it very, very slowly and very deliberately, and then you don't have to. You can work around that rather than actually using masking fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like using masking fluid when I do alcohol ink. I only have used it with alcohol ink, and I never have a problem with it.
So we're going to step our way into this area, which is the bottom that has lots of sandiness to it. So I'm going
to... Chrissy looked it up. Well, maybe she knows, but she said 1975 is
75. 75.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were about 76, 77. So Star Wars did.
Madonna looked up 1977 for Star Wars.
77, yeah, for definite for Star Wars. I'm just trying to think on what. Oh, I know what film came out that year, which rivaled Star Wars. Have a guess.
Exorcist?
No. Well, I think it might have done, but a very famous. Alt girls loved it. 1977.
I can't think of. Well, let's see if somebody in the chat's saying it.
Oh, girls loved it. It had this super smoothy guy in it.
Anybody in the chat now? Blob. Chrissy Campbell's art said Blob. Gremlins.
Not the Blob. We don't have Blob here. We only have that on Chrissy's channel.
Grease. That's it. Grease.
Yes. Grease. And that were another blockbuster that year. There were two big blockbuster films, Star Wars and Grease.
Oh, what about the one about the disco with John Travolta?
No, that came out a year after. You're on about Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
That was 78, that I think. I might be wrong, but that was a sequel to it, weren't it? And it came out a year later or something like that. Might be completely and utterly wrong. So all I'm doing is like creating some sort of like random bits of yellowiness and stuff like that.
Wait a minute, and John Travolta was in Grease and Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night
Yes,
Fever.
it was. It was just basically a sequel to the one before it, weren't it? You can do the way I can take it.
They wanted to have him again in another movie.
Something like that. They weren't my cup of tea. You know, I mean, I'm a bit of a traditionalist.
I didn't really like
when it comes to films, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. You know, things like The Blob and. Oh dear. That didn't quite work.
I really like Jaws.
Jaws.
Out of all of those, my favorite Jaws.
So I expect Mystic Unicorn to be giving us a boatload of shark technical information.
Oh, okay. And Chrissy's laughing her ass off. LMAO.
Well,
Ian.
I thought she would be. I thought she would be because of the reference to here. I'm doing like an undercoat for that gives you a bit of a grounding. Where you put the shadow tells you how far away from the surface it is. So that, you know, if I'd have put it right up there, it would have been right next to the bottom at ground. But there's a bit of a gap, so you can tell that it's like hovering above the water, as it you know what I mean, or that section of water anyway.
Oh, because the closer it is to the ground underneath it, the shadow will be darker, right?
Yeah, it would have more intensity the closer the object is to the ground.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but the farther away something is from where it's projecting to tells you how far it is off at ground. Because unlike us who walk around in air, when we jump up we fall back down, but fish don't, because they're in a liquid fluid thing, so they can be so far off at ground. That's the ground, that sandy bit. It's just got water surrounding it, so that fish can like swim within it. So there's a gap between the shadow and the actual thing that's projecting the shadow itself.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it were stuck to the ground like we are, part of the shadow would touch the ground itself, where it doesn't in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like floating in water. And that's start of that. I don't know how long it's going to take to do this painting, to be honest with you.
Oh, you don't?
It may be one of them that takes forever. It may be one of them that takes 2 minutes. I have got an emergency painting that we can do just in case.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get streaks into it, but I don't want them to have very heavy outer lines, if you know what I mean. You know, I want them fuzzed out. The beams of light, so they're going to be fuzzy, which is really important. Until you start getting like that, and then they, strangely enough, become more defined as you go far. I don't know why that is.
More defined as you go further underwater? As you're saying, as they go further underwater, they get more defined?
I think it's because there's more of a contrast as you get more depth of water. It gets darker, obviously, because you're seeing more through water. Whereas where it's shallower, you see less, so there's less contrast. Whereas here, although there's less light, there's more contrast because the area surrounding it is darker. Do you get that? Yeah. It's more to do with
your link. I'm copying and pasting your link right now.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's good that you're doing these things, because I can't do them because I'm not on. I'm on YouTube.
Okay, now test the link.
So we've got little bumps and bits of detail.
Because it abbreviates the link. See, I tried to copy and paste because I tried to go to your channel directly, and then it's not bringing you up because there's other Ian Jackson. So then I try to copy and paste from a past video, and it abbreviates the link, and it's no good.
Go on to YouTube.
Yeah.
And go to my thing and then get a link from that. Copy and paste from top of the page.
I'm going to try go to your channel directly again. Okay.
And just copy it.
I know. I couldn't find your channel.
There's put it in it, then
it wasn't coming up.
And just make a copy on
Bye,
it.
Gracie. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Bye, Gracie.
Oh, bye, Gracie.
I think Chrissy's leaving too. Bye, Chrissy.
All right. See you later then. Are you off, Chrissy?
Oh no, wait a minute. Let's see. Bye. Oh, Gracie's saying bye, Chrissy. But no, Gracie was saying Chrissy. Mystic Unigon. Okay, here she goes. In watching Blue Planet 2.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Blue Planet. Yeah. Groundbreaking.
Deep down in the ocean and only eats once a year. It eats carcasses of whales that finally sink to the bottom.
If it can't catch one that's alive, they'll go and they'll eat one that's a whale that's died or something. Yeah, they will do that. I'm hoping that looks a bit right. A bit just to show that this side here is darker. I'm going to get a slightly darker blue. So I'm using not ultramarine. Excuse me. Cerulean blue to do this. And now I'm going to punch it up a bit by using ultramarine at this side.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, that brush I converted,
The dagger?
that brush that I chopped up the other day, last week.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether I could use that. Let's have a look. Experimental. It's all experimental. Let me just do
the rake brush.
the new rake brush that I've invented. Oh, it might work. Huh? Right. Get rid of all of that. And
I'll check the chat in a minute, everybody. Okay, let's see if this link works.
right. Now the end is here. I'm gonna
Okay, that works nice. Oh, thanks, Mr. Unicorn. I got the link. I just got the link. I got his link.
There we go. It's refractions of light. They don't always go exactly, uniform. It depends on how light reacts on surface to certain things. So, you're saying that we're not going for scientific perfection here, by the way. We'll come back to that later anyway, and build on that. But I'm starting. See that thing with this? You got to like try and keep building steadily.
So, how many underwater pictures have you painted?
Not many, because it's not one of them things that I tend to do.
I know. So, you did some research before this painting?
I had a look at some. I mean, there's been an awful lot of. You'd think there might be, but not anything that's of any great value.
Ah.
It's either not looking at the subject properly, or it's somebody who's just trying their own techniques out, and whether the work are not any better than what you can do is, and I have a limited amount of time for my research, and it's been the first week back proper with
Hello, Carolyn, to be free. Welcome. Nice to see you.
I think for the time being, that's about right. That'll come out a lot more once I start painting and defining this shark. So I'm mostly happy with that. I want to start getting some stronger browns in there. So I'm going to mix up get a little bit of that.
Crazy Canvas art. Well, maybe you already explained it to me. She wanted to know, did you fall asleep during your premiere?
No, I set it up and I forgot that I'd set it. I don't normally set up to do a premiere and have it set to go at a certain time. I generally just it took so long putting it were early hours at morning when it loaded up, and I thought I'm going to bed. I'm tired, so I set it to start later on that day or earlier today, but I forgot that I'd done it, and ended up going out and getting some shopping in for my dad, basically.
So usually, you said usually you don't set up premieres?
I just like when I set a premiere up, I just generally let it run once it's uploaded.
Oh, an instant premiere.
Yeah, an instant premiere. And but it was, I mean, it took absolutely several hours just to upload that video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was drained by the time. I mean, if you know the process of doing the painting, producing and editing the video, and then uploading it, and what have you, it's an absolutely draining process. So I ended up making it into a video that I was going to watch later on that day, but I forgot.
She says she understands. Do you ever write notes to yourself?
No, it won't make no difference. I'm dyslexic.
I write lots of notes and binders.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, I would have ended up having to go out and do whatever I had to do anyway. So
Okay.
I just completely forgot that. If I'd ever remembered properly, I would have. Because it's unusual for me to do anything like that anyway. Right. What we're going to have to do now for a little bit is let it dry, because there's one thing you can't do with anything that's got masking tape on it, masking fluid, is use a heat gun to let it dry. So have we got anything we can discuss while we're in this period of dormancy?
In this period of drying, right?
Yes. While we're drying, I'll try and tamp it down with that, because what you can't do is no. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait until it's completely dry.
You don't want to use a dryer?
No, you can't. You can't. You shouldn't use it because it'll bake it onto.
Oh yeah, that messes
onto
up
the paper.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember, it's a rubber.
I forgot. Yeah, the masking fluid. Yeah, you don't want to use a dryer with masking fluid.
You never ever use masking fluid on it.
Yeah, I know. I forgot you had the masking fluid on it.
On
right.
So unfortunately, we're just going to have to be patient until this is dried.
Oh, so Carolyn says she got an art kit.
Oh yeah.
In a beautiful brown box.
Oh, always nice when they come in a box.
Carolyn, what's in your art kit?
Let's see. No, it's not. Yes, what's in your art kit?
He says a variety of mediums. Probably oil pastels, colored pencils, watercolors. I've seen those kits. They usually have things like that in them.
So have people found it easy or hard getting back into the routine of producing art? Now we're back into
What? I didn't.
the new year.
No, I
Have we?
didn't. I didn't take time off.
Did you not?
No,
You went.
I upload a video every Monday, and
Uh-huh.
I did do that, and we kept live. I mean, and then the live streams that we have on Fridays on the 2 days after Christmas, you said that was up in the air, but then you did do it, so we followed through with that, and so that was the same. But my own live streaming of I let up on that a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to have a break sometime, just to give yourself a bit of breathing space, and don't give yourself that pressure. Oh, I've got this to do. I've got this scheduled thing to do, or that scheduled thing to
Yeah,
do.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got nothing to do. It's not doing art is not life and death dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we do, so none of us have got any massive obligation towards anything. So we should never feel like we're under time pressure, unless you're doing a piece of work for a client who needs that work doing at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it under time constraints like that, then that's when you charge that client a lot more than what you would normally do. You know, if they need it doing tomorrow, then okay, it can be done tomorrow, but I can assure you it's going to be 10 times more than what it would be if you give me a couple of weeks to do it. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? So that's the only time that time constraints ever come into art. Fair enough,
Mm-hmm.
people have got busy lives and they've got limited amount, but that isn't the same kind of time. You can do paintings over a period of time. Sistine Chapel weren't done in 1 week, were it? They didn't go, let's get it done and move on to the next project. It took ages to do something like that. So it's about being good at scheduling yourself.
Chrissy Canvas says, Ian, do you fancy painting a cow in the cat? What is it? Let's word. In a canal in a cow and maybe she means a kennel. A canal in
Hey?
acrylics from her pictures, her photos or something.
A canal boat?
No, she's talking about a cow,
A
an
cow?
animal, a cow in the canal.
Would a
That
cow?
must be a typo. She must have made a typo. So
I'm going to say I wouldn't imagine a cow would ever be on a canal.
I know she must have made it, and she says it comes from her reference pictures or something.
Well, she can always send it me, and I'll
Yeah,
have a
Chrissy,
look
if
to
you
see
wanted
whether
him,
if
yeah,
it's something that I can do an image from. Yeah.
yeah,
I'll,
he's always looking for requests.
I'm wanting to like peel this off, but I don't know if it's dry enough. I'm going to go against all convention here because I don't want us to be taking forever with it. I am going to do this, but please do not try this at home because it's not standard procedure. Oops. Yeah, oh dear. Oh, sorry, me.
People think strange name. Chrissy
A
says yes.
cow.
The cow stood in the canal.
A cow stood in the canal. Well, it all depends on whether it looks right, really, doesn't it? I mean, because that sounds a bit abstract. So,
Well, it's realistic.
I mean, I can imagine like a cow in a Ford.
And Carolyn, what are you saying? You have 2 cups, and she says, I got 2 cups, and many cows are on the New York City. What's that mean? Are on the New York City. So then Carolyn says, so Chrissy, is the cow in a boat on the canal?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
don't know.
I can't imagine how it would actually work. That, but I'm just making some slight adjustments. Like, oh, I've just about got one space in my power supply. Right. I'm going to try and avoid very much around there.
Oh, Chrissy said, check your email messages and show the people.
Well, we can't here because that has to be sent to. That has to be sent to you, doesn't it?
No, she says I can't show it.
No,
you can.
You can put it up on. You can put it up on the what they call it. You can put an image up, but it'd have to be sent to you.
Screen
not
share.
Me. Yeah, screen share. And hope that you can get it back.
Oh, Chrissy. Oh, she does.
Right, let's have a look. I'll have a look.
I only know how to do screen share if it's a website. I don't know how to do screen share if somebody sent me a photo.
It don't matter. You just you just send it to the tag for the image. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a web page. It just needs to have an address.
I don't know about screen sharing that good. I only know the only time I've ever screen shared was a website.
So it's best not done then, because if you don't know how to,
I don't know how to screen share a website.
We'll end up making a mess of it. Because I know for a fact if I, just a second.
Oh, her video is called Cow Cup. This is Carolyn.
I've not got anything up. Oh, wait a minute.
And then she said, I think she also sent it to you instant messenger.
I'm trying to look at it now. See what I'm seeing. A koala drinking some water. A parrot. That second one's got potential.
What is it?
Oh, wait a minute. She sent 3. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, she sent 3. She said she sent 3.
That very first one, because I could do a combination of that first one, compositionally, and yeah, it's virtually same picture, isn't it? Yeah, that first one that you sent with the cows in the background on the land, that makes sense. It looks as though it's just gone for a little bit of a swim in water. Yeah, it'd make a good picture, that. I might have a go in acrylics on it. I don't know when.
Oh, you mean like watercolor wouldn't be? Oh, because she requested acrylics, or because it would be better?
She wanted me to have a go at it in acrylic.
Oh yeah, that's a request to do
it. Whether I'd be able to do it live on a Friday in an acrylic painting.
Oh, you don't know about that?
I don't know about that, but I could definitely do a video on it.
And she said, yes, in the canal because it was a hot day.
I think there's a famous one of I don't know whether it's Constable who did it, and there's a cow on a, you know what a ford is? And I don't mean a car. It's not a car.
A fjord. You mean FJORD? Fjord?
No, a fjord. A fjord.
Right.
A fjord is
I forget what it is. I know
that's a valley with a lake in it. A fjord. Oh. No, this is a ford. Right. It's a narrowing out part of a river that can be crossed over by a cart or a vehicle or something like that, and it's deliberately raised up so that there's only a trickle of water goes over it, and then it goes back down to its normal levels, and that's so vehicle. It's instead of having a bridge, so vehicles can travel over it. It's called a fjord, a ford. Getting me saying it now. So yeah, that's what it is. But in the middle of this ford, there's a silhouette of a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And
Carol, on her way to Yanceyville, which is a town she visits often, she sees cows standing in the pond to cool off.
Well, I suppose it's a good thing for them to do, because I bet they get hot. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll have a look at that first.
Hi, Pickerick.
Hi, Pickerick. I'm gonna knock that off because
he says beautiful painting. Well, so far, yeah, it's a shark.
Oh, do I need that up? I think I do. Yeah. So I'll have that there. So I'm just going to use my pink lightsaber, and I'm not going to be on it too. I'm going to keep moving around it very, very rapidly. I'm not going to leave it on it too much. So you shouldn't really do this. Don't.
You're saying you shouldn't really do that because he has masking.
Don't do it, because if you've got halfway through your painting and your masking fluid sticks.
You think you're going to be all right doing that?
Well, I'm going to hold it away from it. I'm going to hold it right away from it. Look how far I'm going to hold it.
Okay.
I'm not going down like that on it. I'm just. It might almost be dry anyway. Anyway, I'm only going to be on it a few seconds. I just want to speed the process up.
Hello, Pappy, and hello, Please Back Rule. Yeah, but inside it, that's right.
I'm not leaving it in one position.
Happy Friday to you, everybody, and stick around. Happy Friday.
Moving it around all the time. Right, that's as much as I dare do with it. So if it's not dry now, it's tough. We haven't got time. So what I'm going to start doing is peeling some of this off now, if it peels off. Oh, it won't look as though it's going to peel off this. This is a great worry about masking fluid on certain papers.
But you use Winsor Newton. I imagine that would be fine for that paper.
Well, it don't make no difference. I mean, most of those masking fluids are all the same. Don't matter who it's made by. It's only it's like a rubber solution. And granted, there are some that are better than others, but it don't mean to say that that's like a magic wand. If the paper says do not use with masking fluid, then that means do not use with masking fluid. Or I mean, in America you call it frisket.
Well, no, it's interchangeable. Some people say frisket, but we also use the word masking fluid.
Yeah, it's called Frisket's a company brand name.
Oh, that's a brand name. Oh.
Yeah, Frisket. They make all sorts of things for art and craft. Frisket.
I'm not familiar with that brand.
Yeah, Frisket masking fluid. It's the most common.
I only have bought one. I only recently bought masking fluid a few months ago, and it's the first time I've been using it. I should check the brand. I don't know what brand it is.
Apart from Winsor and Newton in America, right? It's the most common. The most common brand.
Okay, let's
But Frisket make all sorts of things.
let me see what brand it is. Sleep Stack Rule says he never misses Ian Friday.
He don't. He's a loyal fan.
No, they're calling this Liquid Frisket, but that's not the brand name of it. That's not the brand name.
Right. So is that just what you call it in America then?
Yeah. Some people do, but we also call it right here on the bottle. They're calling it Liquid Frisket, but we also call it masking fluid.
Well, I forget what they call it. It's got a certain type of smell that's.
It's made by graphics. It's made by graphics.
Right. I don't know why they call it Frisket though, because nobody else. I don't. There's only America calls it Frisket. So everybody else calls it liquid masking fluid. Because whenever I talk to people about masking fluid,
I've never called it Frisket. I always call it masking fluid.
we're getting there. You've just got to be patient. I mean, you can get them things.
Yeah, that's what I have. I found
rid of it. To be frank, I can't be bothered with it. So I'll use my finger. It's just as good. Thing is, what you got to be is not try and overdo it when you're taking it off. If you try to take,
we have a question.
Oh yes, go on. We always like questions.
From Flea Stack Rule, he says, "What is your favorite place to eat in the UK?" Brisket sounds good.
Hey.
Where is your favorite place in the UK? And he says Brisket sounds good.
Yeah, because I think I've heard that being used as a word for food.
Yeah.
So that's why people get confused. It's a food and it's a masking fluid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what type of food that is, though. By the way, that is Brisket. I think it's some sort of brisket. That's it. Yeah, brisket. Brisket. That's some a type of cut of meat.
Oh, hi, Dina. Dina's here, and
hello.
Madonna's still here. Hello. Thanks for people who are still here. Thanks for saying.
I won't be much longer. We're getting rid of all this gloopy masking fluid.
Oh, and Mystic Unicorn says corned beef briskets are delicious. Yeah, that's corned beef brisket.
Is it a cut of meat?
Yeah, Mystic Unicorn, can you tell
brisket.
us? Is it brisket a cut of meat?
Or is it some sort of man-made meat?
Friskers is a brand of cat food. Friskers, not Frisket with a T. It's Friskers. You think Friskers are a brand of cat food?
So I've done a little bit of masking round.
But you didn't. So it brings back. Oh, I'm sorry. Where's your favorite place to eat?
Where is my favorite place? I don't know. Home. So I can make my own food.
And then Chrissy Ann said that probably for you it's Chippy's something. Chippy's and
Fish chip shop. I do like a nice kebab meat now and again.
Chippy at Scompton.
At Skipton. Do you know what? There's a lot of fish and chip shops at Skipton, right? But they're not that nice. Because they're a little bit touristy. Where I live up in Skipton, it's a bit touristy, and they tend to treat people like, oh, here, next customer kind of thing, and that don't make for a good bag. That don't make for a good bag of chips. You got to treat the chips with respect.
Dina says, "Oh, your painting's looking fabulous."
Thank you.
Oh no, Jen says that. Jen's wild about art. She said that your painting's looking fabulous.
So what I did there is I took advantage of the some of the masking fluid. I did a vigorous painting over it, and I highlighted little bits of light areas for masking fluid. Now that is quite harsh, but we'll go over that and soften it up a bit and put a teeny weeny bit of colour into it, and it'll make it look as though it's glistening on surface. You know, like how light does on water. When it touches a surface, it glistens. So that's another good reason why you'd use masking fluid. Because if you were doing vigorous work around it with all that flow of colour, you just wouldn't get it. It'd be near impossible. Oh. So we're nearly there. I think that's almost everything. Job done. Right. One important thing to do, make sure that's got ready. Can I feel any more? Nope. So other sharks are available. So right, can you see that?
Oh, Dina says she loves the sense of light coming from the
from up
the
here.
light and has
Yeah.
streaming from.
I may work that a little bit more. Now it's dry, but I'm going to move on to filling this shark in now. You got to think about right. A shark out of water is a grey colour. A shark in water that's blue is going to have a blue tinge to it. So that's what we're going to think about now. The only I've got a little bit more that you've got to make sure that you get rid of it. That
Oh, hi Dave, backyard chickens and outdoors.
Yay.
Welcome Dave.
Chickens. Right, there's an area where it's kind of itching light there. It's like reflecting off it. So I want to try and avoid that if I can. In fact, actually, what I'll do first is I'll put a wet of yellow there because it's actually itching that. And then we're going to go for a grey.
Oh, hi Christy K with a K-K-R-I-S-T-I. Christy, hi. Welcome.
So a very neutralized blue. Next. And see if we can what we want to do as well is get a sense of flow and movement. So there we go. Although that's gone too far, it's all right. We can adjust that. And then we'll go as this is on its first coat, by the way.
That's first coat for the water too, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we'll come back over all of this. And we'll also do some very much more darker tones as well. So what that actually does is, because light's coming from there, it's hitting this. Is it the dorsal fin? That I'm not right sure whether that's the correct name for it. It's making that dark, but it's also casting a shadow. So it's things like that. There's not an awful lot of detail on her. on a shark, to be frank. Now, remember, it's a curve. It's a curve, a shark. So it's got an area that's going to have light hitting it, and it's going to have an area where it's in shadow. And that's where this is, that bit there.
And Dina says, Ian, your train that you premiered today, earlier today, is stunning.
Oh, thank you. Well, it were a two video image that it took quite a while to really come to fruition. So I'm to some extent I'm glad it's over and done with. But yeah, it were interesting doing that, because I've not done a
you had a train here on this live 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that were a slightly different set of circumstances. That what I painted today were a lot more detailed. What I painted on yours the other week were a loose interpretation to help people get used to potentially drawing and painting
Chrissy Canvas Art said she told people it was 2 parts.
Yes, I've actually now got it in a. At the end of it, it does actually say that there's 2 parts to it. So it's like a very darkish, deepish blue. This.
And it is a dorsal fin. Dina says yes, it is a dorsal fin.
Is that what it is? A dorsal fin? I didn't know whether that what dorsal fin. This one comes here.
We have a question. We have a question. Gracie wants to know, what kind of watercolors are you using today?
Today, I think these are me Jacksons. You know, got to stick right with family, aren't you? Not that they're giving me a family discount. They don't. They're perishers.
And Sleestack brought up the name of the movie Close Encounters.
Yeah.
That's not having to do with sharks, is it?
Oh, no, he's right, actually. Close Encounters were one of the films that came out the same year as Jaws or Star Wars. They were all very close. You hardly ever see that on telly ever these days. Close Encounters, and it was a great film. I don't get it.
Jen's Wild About Art says the bottom fins are pectoral.
Oh, the pectoral. All right.
Is dorsal.
Now, yeah, because that's where its pectoral would be, wouldn't it? But sharks have several little ones there as well. They have one in the centre and 2 there, and then 1 up here, which I'm going to put in before I forget.
So the prominent one on that's the dorsal fin, that prominent one on the top?
The big one that they're famous for.
That they're famous for.
Yeah, that's the dorsal fin. So they've got 1 there, and they've got 2 or 3. Yeah, it's a bit strange. We've got 1 that goes like that there, and then just behind it they've got another one there, and another one that goes at the opposite side to that. But they are an apex predator and very good at swimming, so that's the reason why they have all these different fins, to be able to move through water very, very fast.
Well, Jen Wild About Art seems to know a lot about sharks. She says the males have the back ones underneath. They are claspers.
Claspers? Oh, are they fish?
No, she's talking about male sharks.
No, but with these sharks, sometimes they have these like fish that like clasp onto the bottom of them for protection.
Oh, hi, Skeeter. He says Sharkula.
Sharkula. Right. Yeah, there's all sorts of weird facts. Unfortunately, because you spend so much time researching various different procedures and things like that in these things, so it kind of goes like that. If you can see what I've just done, they're all very subtle, these lines and things. So that starts to come down a little bit, but it dilutes into this light area. It's got a very white area around its mouth, and then that fades back down into down into here. That's not so white.
Jen's Wild About Art says she's a shark nerd, and she knows a lot about them, and she says the fish that attach to sharks are remoras.
Really? Is the different fish that go on different sharks? Because obviously sharks live in different parts of oceans, so they're going to be different types of fish, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, they just like attach themselves to them sometimes. But they attach themselves to lots of different types of fish. You know, somewhat bigger fish, so that they don't get. Well, if one of these came along and there were one attached to a big fish, and big fish got ate by the shark, then that'd get ate with it. So
I think Chrissy's leaving. I'm not sure. Is Chrissy leaving?
Right.
And Dina says your shark is spectacular, Ian.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go down to Yoda Mini Brush. Is it bedtime, Chrissy? I don't know. I lose track of time when I'm painting, doing this. So I never seem to know what time it is.
Dina just Googled, and the claspers are male reproduction organs.
Really?
Parts. I mean, whatever. Parts.
Well, these that I'm looking at, they don't look like
okay. Bye,
anything
Gracie.
other than. See you later, Gracie.
Amazing shark painting, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, thank you. We're going to start getting an idea of, you know, they're famous for having those gill things, aren't they? I'm only going to I'm not going to do them exactly as they are on, you know. I'm just trying to represent it, creatively speaking. So it's got that there.
So Jen says, I think that there are different species, but remoras are the cleaners of the sea.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's what they do. They literally attach themselves to Mr. Shark here, and they go all over its body and like nibble all crusty bits off at shark, and that's how they feed. And you can have your toes done by them, not them particular things, but there are some fish that'll you dip your toes in. They were quite popular a few years ago. Do you remember? Did you have a go? I can't imagine you having a go at that.
With sharks?
No. with them
fish.
little fish where you dip your toes into that
I've
little
seen
pool.
it. I don't know that was any kind of service available around here, but I've seen it.
All right. You're telling me in America you can't get that service? That's disgraceful.
No, I haven't seen. Maybe I just didn't have my eye out for it. I don't know.
I thought it were a place of golden opportunity, America. There were a place called Meadowhall, and I know there were people queuing up to have it done. I nearly went to a shop and bought some goldfish and dipped my toe in it. See whether goldfish would do it. Because you can train them, I would imagine. I know they're not known for very much intelligence, goldfish, but I'm sure you can train them up. Right. This is the most important part of a shark. This is where it gets its, like, I don't know, it's like it just has no sense of emotion. It's like a blackness.
Yeah,
inside.
that's what they always say about their eyes.
It's like completely black. And then that comes back a bit like that. And then like that. So we're starting to get somewhere with it. I'm going to come back to this brush and put a really, really fine wash of, because everything that would normally be white is being tinted by the blue of the water. I'm going to just nip it away from it a bit.
I'll be right back. I won't be able to read the chat for a few minutes.
All right.
And Ian cannot read the chat right now either. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
I'll try and hold the fort as best I can.
Okay.
I can't read the chat because it's not up. So it's I'll just have to chat and make it up as I go along. So you guys are settling back down into New Year, so that we, get back down into a decent routine again. Because I know one or two have found it a bit difficult pulling themselves back into the new year. So what I'm going to do while we've got this light arrangement of, I've got a bit of water and a little. Oh, did that go then? Not right, sure. Seemed to vanish that. And it like softens it up a bit. I'll show. Here that one is there. Quite strong, so what I'm going to do is just nip it away a bit. It's still there, and just blend it slightly into the rest of the colour, so it's not overly strong in the image, because when you use masking fluid it can create a very, very strong edge in your edges like that. For example, that's a strong edge. So I'll just get a bit of water and a teeny weeny bit of paint and just feather that in till it's softened into the situation, and just helps. It helps bring the painting together as a whole as well.
Okay, I'm back. I'll look at the chat.
You are. So let's see if I can get this that back in. It's going to wobble like that. It's not going to follow the exact shape of that. And I think we're almost ready for getting the darker areas in of this. So I'm going to mix up like a dark turquoisey blue. And this is where we just want to be. This is where we want to be. You don't want to be putting too much in. It's just certain. Sorry, go on.
Jen says she's a few aquariums, and her goldfish are wonderfully intelligent, and they recognize and react differently to different family members.
Do they? I always was taught that they were a bit slack. They only had a 6-second memory.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Well, my goldfish that I've had in the past always wanted to jump out at thing. So, but I mean, I've never been a person who's fully understood looking after animals. It's not an environment that I have any great knowledge of.
You don't have pets?
Not really. We've had odd dog now and again, but having pets, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be my human need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I've had cats most of my life.
My family's had pets and things, but
hi, Elf Lord's Journey, welcome.
Hi, Elf Lord. And you can, with this, you can very quickly start to overwork it. So I'm being absolutely careful not to.
Alford says his sharks are meaner than yours.
It's a pretty passive one, this one. It does look. I mean, I did one. If I can find it out later, I'll show it you. One that's a bit more meaner. Because I think it's probably in a happy mood. It's probably had its dinner and thought, right, I'm just going to go for a rest now. Right. So for the time being, that's about as much as I'm going to do with it, because you can overwork it. I might come back to it later on once it's dried a bit more.
You say overwork it, but that doesn't mean adding too many details, does it?
No, you got to get the right amount of details to it. It's just the
wash.
If you keep adding wash after wash after wash after wash,
yeah,
you lose it in like a mud pile.
Yeah.
It just goes muddy. So you have to stop and say, let it dry, give it time to breathe, and then continue on after.
Yeah.
Because you're not gaining anything by continuously working on it.
Right now, the skin has good texture.
Yeah, and I might leave it like that. Although I might, it might get a couple. Dependent on how it dries and how dark it dries, I might put a tiny bit more darkness in it. But apart from that, it's not that far off done. Let's see if we can. We've got a rant of the week today. Rant of the week. My rant is there's certain
I don't
people
have one
moaning.
plan unless something comes to my mind.
Certain people moaning about being caught by FTC when they've had like nearly 2 months to get themselves organised. Hello, have you not been on this planet for the last 2 months? Duh.
Oh, you're saying you heard channels saying they're trying to get.
The moaning about my channel's been had this done to it and that done to it. Well, you know, it's been fairly much publicised over the last couple of months that that's what's going to be happening. So why aren't you doing out about it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, everybody. I've had to go through several hundred videos and check every one of mine to make sure that they're copper compliant.
Right.
And if that's the case with me, I expect that to be the case with everybody. And anybody who doesn't, and then gets, you know, collared by the authorities, then whose fault is that? And I don't agree with what the authorities are doing, but at the end of the day, we've been given fair warning. To either get rid of stuff.
Elford says it really looks like it's floating. Good shadows.
Yeah, that's because that there's making it. It looks as though it's off the ground. Obviously, it's in water, but that's it. That's the key to it. I'm going to go back now and re-strengthen the black in that eye, because all of a sudden, are you eating some crisps?
Onion rings.
Onion rings again?
On Friday, I sometimes on Friday we order out, and sometimes I get onion rings with my wrap sandwich, and not always, but this Friday I did.
Oh, well, why not? And are they actual proper onion rings, or are they?
Yes.
Are the potato chips?
Real onion on the inside?
So why are they crunchy?
They're not. Well, they're not really crunchy. Well, they're a little bit crunchy because they're fried. They're just a little bit crunchy.
Well, I suppose it's how you like them done, but an onion ring, the batter that goes around the onion should be soft and battery. Crisp, but not like rock hard like a crisp.
No, these aren't rock hard. No, these are. I don't know what you're hearing. They're not really They're not crunchy like potato chips.
I can hear it. It sounds like a AMS, whatever they call it.
I think they sound crunchier than they are. I don't know.
Probably. Your microphone might be up a little bit too high. Right. Can I get some glue?
Elford said he had almost 400 to check for. I went through, like I had 350. I went through. I didn't go through each video. I mean, I scrolled and I looked at the thumbnail and I checked, like I didn't open up every video. I just like looked and see what was and could tell by what the content was by the title and the thumbnail.
you
And
know your own.
quite a few. I delete instead of putting them instead of being questioning like, oh, I don't know, there's a princess on the thumbnail. Oh, I don't know, I don't care. It was a crap video anyway. It was like 20 or 25 crap videos. I don't care about deleting them. I'd rather do that than be in jeopardy, worried about. So, and then there's a few, I have a, like my second highest performing video happens to be about Guatemalan worry dolls. And I said, okay, I guess I better mark that shot. I have to mark that for children, even though it's not.
Although you wouldn't have imagined a Guatemalan worry doll would be anything that a child would be even aware of.
Yeah, in Guatemala, children grow up using Guatemalan worry dolls. Like they're made for children to use.
Oh. Right.
But that's not what my video was not about that, but that's their origins, and I might discuss that. I can't take a risk, whatever. So I just like, well, I deleted like 20 videos, and then I marked for children. I marked for children maybe about 3 videos.
I only removed 1 out of my entire arrangement, and that was because it were an animation. It was a stop frame animation that I did, just to show that I could do animation.
Because
you know,
adults, but it's like because everybody's afraid. Everybody was afraid, and there's all that fear going around. It's like, well, this Guatemalan worry doll video, I better just make it market for children. Yeah, Kappa. Yeah, Elf Lord Journey says Kappa has many gray areas. Yeah, and they didn't make that more clear with our petitions and all our comments to them.
That's a good thing, because at the end of the day, if they do ever try to sue you, right, you can take it to court and just say, look, this law is so undefined, it's difficult to even apply it. And that's not just my personal experience. That's the experience of almost every YouTuber on the planet. And they can't fine you over something that's not correctly defined.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Bye, Alfred.
Is he getting off?
Yeah, he had to leave. He says he had to run.
All right. Well, we're going to finish early today anyway, because it's like I'm getting to the stage where I can't do very much more with it, to be frank.
Oh, I like how the light's coming through the water. You add some darks to that.
Yeah, just to emphasize it. I'm just going to put a bit more.
Make it really pop now.
A bit more bluiness to it.
Right.
And the thing is, what you've got to not do is just overwork it, because it'll look rubbish. Well, I mean, it's starting to get a bit overworked now, to be frank, but
the texture in the skin, I like that you left that. Texture in the skin looks good.
I might have drawn the shark a bit strange. There's something about it that I don't like, and I think it's the eyes. You got to get eyes right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub that eye out. And let me. Who says you can't?
I look the Lori files. You're welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
So we took that eye out. I'm gonna just put heat gun over it to make sure it's dry. Let's see if we can redo this eye, because it's not working for me.
I see what you mean about the eye.
I think I made it a little bit too cartoony. It looks too big.
I see what you mean now.
So
The rest
line goes across like that. All right. And it's about half of it. There you go. It's menacing. It's got a menacing eye, but
yeah, that's right.
it's you know, is that too far forward? Difficult to tell. Right. So let's see if we can repaint that now. So you guys can see what it is I'm doing. That's better. And round about here, I can put. Not going to be as obvious as that, but what we're going to do is soften that out a bit.
The Lori file says she has a giveaway on her channel. She hopes people will come check it out.
Whee! So what's the giveaway? You have to be really careful about that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the giveaways. They have new rules about them.
Yeah, they do. So if
I've
when you're dealing with it,
the rules.
You have to check into your local gambling rules for your state, right? And you have to specifically state what it says about it. You know, don't just say, "Oh, I've got to give away what it is," because you could be given a community strike.
Yeah, you better. I hope you checked into the new ruling. There's new ruling, Lori, on that, on the giveaways.
Be very, very careful.
She said she made some journals. That's what she's giving away, some handmade journals.
Right. I mean, it don't matter whether it's something that you've got from a third party or something that you were giving away that you've made yourself. What it is they look at it as an enticement for people to come to your site. Therefore, it's deemed to be like gaming, and you have to be very careful about what rules and regulations there are in your particular state.
Oh, she lives in Australia.
Well, even in Australia, there will be like it might be that you have to be 18 to actually be partaking in it, for example. And anybody under the age of 18 who does it is invalidated. They're not allowed due to gambling laws, which they do deem this to be. You may not look at it like that, but under laws these days,
I think in my state, gambling isn't until age 21.
Eh?
Well, I think gambling is not illegal till age 21.
It's different in every state. That's why I say look at your own states.
Every state and country.
Look at each country. You can't just look at the US's rules and go, "Oh well, I'm all right."
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, right? You know this 13 thing for copper, right? That's not right for Europe. Actually, it should be 18. So, to some extent, although I'm abiding by law in America, I also have to cater for the law that's in Europe, which is states that you've got to be you're only allowed to hand on your personal data from the age of 18. Although there's no distinction between children and adults in that sense, like there is with copper. Everybody's treated the same.
Good looking, fat, fantastic.
I think he's looking a little bit podgy. There's something about it don't look streamlined enough for me. It's grim? Is it? It's grim. I think. I don't know. It might.
No, it's not.
I always get a bit.
Well, it is. It does look a little. I didn't. Yeah, like like it just ate. Like, could it look like that after it just ate?
I don't know.
The eye is better.
Yeah, but you can work on bits like this for hours, getting it right. But I hope we've been able to learn some bits from it today anyway. It is a worthy subject to look at. Definitely a worthy subject. So, because we've had this, that's a challenge in itself, getting that light to glisten, and then you know, I just think it's a bit fat. It's a full shark. It's a shark that's had enough food to feed as many sharks as you need to feed. That's what it is. So I can get a little bit more.
Oh, Donna says under his jaw. Hold on. Under his jaw pudges out a bit. Maybe that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm seeing. I'm gonna correct that now. Now I've seen it. She's right. I can see that that's wrong. So all we need to do with that is get a small brush like this, and we're going to cut into it a bit. See if we can get a nice bit of blue. Now, I'm also going to alter that because that's too curved. So I'll bring that around. That's instantly better. It's flatter, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll bring that up a bit as well. Just made it a little bit podgy. That just shows you that just making that one like adjustment can make a ton load of difference. It may even. The thing is with painting, way I'm doing it is I'm away from it. You're looking straight down at it, and I'm looking at it at an angle like that, and that might be distorting the way I'm seeing things. Right, let's see if we can make a change. I'm going to take all that out because it's just not right.
And Lori says she loves sharks. She says they're so misunderstood. Really?
Yeah,
I don't love sharks. I think they're scary.
Well, they're cool. Well, look, they're a wild animal, and at the end of the day, you've got to respect them because, like any animal, if it considers you to be something that you know, you're going in its territory or a threat of any kind, it's going to have a go at you. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have a moral code. It just sees you as a threat, and bang, you're done. I mean, most animals are not properly. I mean, look at bears, for example. We go and live in their domain, and then when they come and like go around our trash bins looking for food, they're a pest. No, we're a pest.
Well, they go in people's houses in Alaska.
Fair enough. If there's an imminent danger of you know, someone getting hurt, right, and you've took all the precautions you can, then something needs to be done to stop that animal getting any farther forward. There has to be a certain amount of control, but not gun happy. Oh, you're coming on my land, I'm going to shoot you. That's not going to help anybody.
No.
It's just somebody who's a bit trigger happy. We just altered that a little bit.
I think in Alaska they probably understand bears more because they have to live around them more.
Well, I think that's the current idea is like trying to do things in a way that takes them into account. Those bears were there a long time before human beings were. So
Mystic has a question. She goes, Ian, do you have shark vacuum cleaners over there?
We do have shark vacuum cleaners, yes.
What's that, a brand name?
It's a brand, yes, of a brand of vacuum cleaner. Well, it's getting a little bit better. I think I might be done.
You're taking away some pigment there on the back. You're lifting up some pigment.
Yeah, I've lifted little bits of things. It's just a matter of going through and lifting various bits and adding various bits back.
If that's because it had not dried, or I thought after it dries you really can't lift.
You can. It depends on your paper and the paint.
Yeah, your paper.
The paint, is it a staining paint? If it stains, then you're not going to be able to lift off as much as you could have done. But this is cellulose paper. Right? It has a lot of sizing on it.
Cotton, so, no, that's staining.
It's not that the cotton is staining. It's cotton paper has less sizing in it.
Right.
Therefore, it soaks into the paper more. Right. That then means it's more harder to get out of cotton paper.
Right.
But that's where the time limit is on it. with cotton paper, you've got a certain amount of time to work with it. And once it's set in it, that's it. You're going to struggle. I'm going to make his nose a little bit longer. Make it a tiny bit
more streamlined.
That's it. And make that a bit more defined there. Still a bit podgy. It's just.
Oh, you didn't use any gouache, did you? Did you use the gouache yet?
Yes, I used it in amongst some of the lighter areas.
Wow.
Yeah, I only use it to make the lighter blues and things like that, because it's difficult to get that light turquoise otherwise. And I think one of the things that's probably annoying me now is that curve there.
Which curve?
This bit here, I think it needs to be a lot more flatter.
On the top or the bottom?
On the top.
Oh, I see.
That means that needs lifting out a bit. Let's build that up now. Right. Right, I've gone all quiet on you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nobody. No one saying anything in the chat to read to the chat. I mean, read the chat to you. No one's saying anything. No.
I'm not far off completion, guys. So bear with us.
Okay, bye, Lori Files.
She got to go. In fact, actually, that's where I'm going to leave it, because if I do any more, it'll just start getting mucky and messy. So there's my shark.
Lori did a great job as always.
Hey? Well,
Lori Files says, great job as always.
And I've just figured out one of the things that is making that not look right. And you can keep looking at these things, by the way, all the time and finding stuff. Get rid of that hard edge. There you go. That's me done. Shark! So what I propose to do next week is Dina Tollefson still here with us?
Oh, I don't. Let me check. I can see if I type in her name if it comes up. Well, I don't know what. Is Dina still here? Because when I type in her name, it comes up. Dina, are you still here?
Is she here, isn't she?
Well, she hasn't answered yet, but when I type in her name, it comes up as if like somebody, as if she's still in here. I mean, but she hasn't answered yet.
All right. No, it's just I've got a preliminary drawing for one of her challenges that she's doing of it next month or so.
Yeah, I didn't check that yet. I just saw it's called Red Rover.
Red Rover. She may not be here. I don't know if she went or not. Not sure.
I don't know how come I can type in her name. How come her name comes up? It pops up if I.
Because at some point during the session that you're in, she's been in here. That's why.
Oh, not that. I thought that meant that that the person is still here. If you could type in their name and it pops up.
Well, she might not be at the actual. Anyway, whatever. Here we go. That's my preliminary drawing. Can you see that?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I have to look at the computer screen. So hold on. Oh, it's some husky dogs.
It's one dog.
It's so that's a fantasy creature.
It is a fantasy creature, yeah. Do you know who it is?
No.
Cerberus.
Oh, is that a mythological creature?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Three-headed. I'm playing with that. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that looks good.
Some kind of mythological drawing.
It's called Cerberus.
Cerberus. Yes.
Cerberus.
Yes.
Madonna says, "Oh wow, that's awesome, Ian."
So that I might, and because it's red, and because Cerberus looks after the entrance to the Netherworld.
Wow. Bye, Madonna. I think I'm leaving. Bye, Madonna.
See you later, Madonna. I'll probably do it in a very reddy kind of colour. It's going to be a red dog. So anyway, that's my idea behind it. But I'll explain all that when we get round to it. But anyway, just on this subject, there it is. The fish. Not, I won't say it's one of my more technically brilliant paintings that I've ever done, but we've had a look at how masking tape, masking fluid can help when we're doing vigorous bits of work. We've looked at how to build up as colour from the yellow at the back to this streaks of blue, and same again with that, the sandy area where that's more dominantly yellow, and made that like blend into that, and then got your fish in the middle of it. And that's it, really. Have a go at doing one.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. What?
Have a go at doing one. Anyone, have a go. Sharks are not that complicated to draw. And maybe it's about making sure that you get that right, and not over fattening it like I have. But you can always make an adjustment.
Well, maybe Mystic wants to paint a shark. She likes them, I think, right? She's the one that requested this. You're a shark fan, right?
Well, you guys like to, see what artwork you were doing. So let us know if you ever do anything, and we'll come and have a watch at it. So
let them know. Let them know what.
Let us know that you're doing some art, and we'll come and have a look at your art. Because I don't know what it is. It just seems really quiet at the moment.
Oh, got a lot of people left.
Well,
But
I
there's
mean,
people that are still here. Let's see. I think just 4 people are still here.
Well, we're done now anyway. I mean, it's 11:15, isn't it? Well, it's 10 minutes to
10 minutes
11.
before. 10 minutes before.
So we're done a little bit early today. And
Yeah.
that's probably because we've not been doing any usual ranting.
Yeah. And last week actually, I think you went 15, 20 minutes over.
Yeah, but it all depends on how complex the actual painting is. And
What
to be
was
frank,
your emergency painting? You said you had an emergency painting?
I have got an emergency painting, but I might leave that for next week now, unless I can figure out a way to do acrylic painting and do I might do that on a completely separate painting. Because setting up for an acrylic's a nightmare.
With an acrylic, you could start it, and then you could, when you feel like you could do the last 2 hours on on the live stream.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a cop out that though, isn't it? I'd sooner just do 2 videos or something like that.
There's other artists that work like that. They don't show us our work, their work from beginning to end. They show a little bit of the process in between.
But if it's a tutorial and you're wanting to learn how to do a particular thing,
well, yeah.
How are you going to learn if you only see part of it?
Tutorial, then you can't. You should do it from beginning to end. Yes, but we're not saying that you always have to do tutorials.
No, I mean you're right. It can be a demo. That's the difference between a demo and a tutorial.
Yeah.
Tutorials, it takes you through the full process, whereas a demo just
as a demo,
a little bit of a process, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see, but I'm just trying to find
Mystic has a question. Okay, about that mythological dog creature. She says, so will any breed of dog work?
Well, you've got to make it look a little bit.
Oh, because she said one on Harry Potter was a bulldog.
You couldn't use like a 3-headed chihuahua.
No, it has to be kind of an aggressive-looking dog.
It has to have a certain. So what I went for is I looked at some images of wolves in different. I mean, I think that's a little bit passive, but I don't necessarily want it to be over, because every picture I've seen of Cerberus is this aggressive guard dog. Now, I might not want to do it like that. I might want to do Cerberus as, a playful puppy. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess, yeah, that would be, you're free to have your own interpretation.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you don't always have to go with the stereotype of what it normally means. How you interpret something is absolutely down to you. But to a degree, I've looked at it from a wolf kind of a viewpoint, because they tend to have a more wild and aggressive expression. I mean, I may change that. I don't know. At the moment, it's just in its preliminary stage. I'd like it to be looking directly at us with a snarl.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
That one's looking there. That one's looking down. And
right.
this one looks a little bit passive. That.
Yeah.
As though it's playing with a ball or something.
Right.
But I haven't been able to find any convincing facial expressions on anything yet. But that's all about what you play with and how you set things up and concept an image.
Well, hi, Kat. Welcome.
Which is an art form in itself. I'm just trying to find that thing, and then we can finish off for the evening if we can find it.
Casper said that's awesome. He likes your dog creature. That's a mythological creature, Cerberus.
Well, it will be once I've got it all properly concepted. I mean, I've got to put it in a more aggressive pose as well. You know, almost as though it's leaping towards you or about to pounce or something like that. But you get all those things done as you constantly keep drawing. It looks as though I can find me. You know that painting I did last week? It were on the other side of that, and it's some flowers.
Some flowers.
Yeah, because we've not done flowers yet.
I know you avoid doing flowers. You said that's one of the.
I do because it's not it's not something I do an awful lot of anyway. But if people want to see that and have a look at it, then we can have a look at it, can't we? And it's good for me to do it because I've got to do artwork that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's a part of moving on and getting better at what you do. It's that next step. So, well, I think it's time to start wrapping up and saying goodbye to everybody.
Okay, thank everybody. Thank you for those people that are still here, and yeah, we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Thank you. To my moderators, thank you.
Thank you, moderators.
Thank you.
At least we weren't bombarded by dumplings this week.
I know. Yeah.
It's been like that all week with a load of people.
Oh, Casper says that's good. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's well done.
It still needs that rounding off a little bit, flattening off. That's still underneath it. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I might when I get a bit of spare time, work at it a bit and tweak a few bits and bobs. You always do once you think you've finished the painting. It's good to step away from it and then come back to it a little bit later on with fresh eyes and just do some final bits of tweaking, but don't engage in the painting. Just tweak, look, find out what is not right, do it and step away. Because if you engage with the painting, you'll start doing more and more and more with it, and that's where you start making a mess of it.
Yeah.
So right.
That's what I heard on a live stream. You've seen me do that where I'm like, well, okay, I don't know what more to do on this. I think I'll put it aside.
Yes. That's
and a lot of people feel like, oh, I got to get something done from beginning to end, but well, not necessarily.
You can get a painting. It depends on what type of painting you're doing. If like you were doing an oil painting and you'd only got your undertone painting done, then that's as far as you can get for that session.
Right.
You've got to let it dry a bit and then crack on with next session. And certain types of materials need that breathing space. It needs like a, whoa, you put enough on me now. Just wait, let it dry, and then move on. And you'll find that you get better results by doing that instead of trying to get everything just done in one session.
Right. Yeah.
Because you just can't do it because everything just looks a mess.
No, that's an important part of the creative process. It is to step away.
It is.
Step away, and also, yeah, because you sometimes you need to refuel yourself. I mean, creatively.
Yeah, emotionally recharge yourself so you're ready for the next step of the painting. Because another part, if you're doing very colourful areas of a painting and then you have to leave it, and then the next stage of the painting you have to do very dark tones, you're not in you're not in the right mindset to do dark tones when you've been doing super colourful colours. You're like, whoa, colour. Is your brain in the right mind frame to do dark tonal values when you're in that colourful frame of mind? I would say no. So you step back give your brain a bit of time to rethink itself, and then come to the next level of painting, ready to take on that next section of the painting.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm going through right now on a 36-inch diameter. It's a round canvas, 36 in diameter, 36 inches in diameter round painting on canvas.
There's never anything wrong about walking away from a piece of artwork to freshen your mind up.
No, that's part of the creative process.
It's perfectly fine, and it gives you a bit of time to rethink things.
Especially if you don't know what you're going to do. Like you've come to a place where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do next on it, but I know something needs to be done. But you don't know, and you can't push you can't push it after that. You have to step away and
the problem is, if you don't step away from it, what can happen is it becomes incoherent, the painting, and it spoils it, and you're putting too much on at one time, and it just becomes a mess. And that's what a lot of artists who are new to painting, that's where they get the most frustration from. So anyway,
Skeeter says don't put wings on it.
Don't put what?
Don't put wings on it.
It's already got some wings.
I don't know where he got that from, but he's I guess it's
sounds like a red sounds like a Red Bull thing. Must be. Right, at that point,
thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody.
Say goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Ian, for being guest artist.
What's it been like? Quality video actually, where I'm looking on what do they call it? It looks great. That's best I've seen.
Oh, you're seeing it on the video monitor?
Not on YouTube, but on what they call it, on StreamYard.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see what it looks like when it's uploaded to YouTube. Okay then. Yeah,
today was a clear pic. Today was mostly a clear picture. It did go in and out a little bit, but not as bad as some weeks. Some weeks, not as bad as some weeks have been at all.
We've got at this end, we've got a little bit of buffering, but that, to be frank, you get that all the time on YouTube Live. It's like part and parcel arrangement.
Oh, I thought buffering is when it freezes.
Well, it is. It's just not pushing through enough data, so it just stops up.
Right.
It can't keep up with the data, so it just like stops, and it'll either stop it permanently or it'll stop it temporarily until it's caught up.
Okay, thank you. Right, thanks again, everybody. Have a nice weekend. And thank you. Thank you.
Have a nice weekend, all. Do something creative.
Yeah, do something creative.
And you got a catchphrase.
I used to. I changed them. I used to say, have a great creative day.
Yeah, well, that's good
enough. The thing I have isn't catchy enough, so I didn't keep it. I have never thought of it.
It's the sentiment that counts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of my videos saying, have a great creative day.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's not meant to be any something catchy. It's the sentiment behind it at the end of the day. Positivity. Yeah. Right. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, Ann.
Bye-bye.